In the long and extraordinary story of ancient Egypt, some pharaohs are remembered for their colossal monuments, others for their military conquests, and still others for the religious revolutions they unleashed upon the world. Teti, the founding pharaoh of Egypt's Sixth Dynasty, belongs to a different, more subtle category. He is remembered for what he preserved, what he built in the spiritual realm, and intriguingly, for how he may have died. Ruling around 2345 to 2333 BCE during the final glorious decades of the Old Kingdom, Teti stands at a pivotal crossroads in Egyptian history, the last great era of centralized pharaonic power before the slow, irreversible unraveling that would eventually plunge Egypt into the chaos of the First Intermediate Period. His story is one of political cunning, profound religious devotion, monumental construction, and, if the ancient historian Manetho is to be believed, a shocking end at the hands of the very men sworn to protect him. Teti's ascent to the throne of Egypt was not straightforward. He came to power at a moment of potential dynastic crisis. His predecessor, Unas, the last pharaoh of the Fifth Dynasty, had died without leaving a male heir, a dangerous vacuum in a civilization built on the principle of unbroken divine succession. Into this uncertain landscape stepped Teti, whose own parentage and bloodline remain subjects of scholarly debate to this day. What is known is that his mother, Queen Shet, played a critical role in reconciling warring factions within the royal family and facilitating her son's path to the throne, a testament to the behind-the-scenes political power wielded by royal women in ancient Egypt. The most politically astute move Teti made in securing his legitimacy was his marriage to Iput-I, who is widely believed to have been the daughter of his predecessor Unas. By taking the late pharaoh's daughter as his principal wife, Teti bound his new dynasty to the old one through blood and kinship, presenting his succession not as a rupture but as a continuation. It was a masterstroke of political calculation, a marriage that transformed a potential usurper into a legitimate heir. Teti's reign, estimated at approximately 12 years, was characterized by a dual reality, surface stability accompanied by deep structural shifts in the distribution of power. On the surface, he was an effective and active ruler who maintained Egypt's administrative machinery, conducted religious patronage, and preserved the traditions of the Old Kingdom. But beneath this, forces were quietly at work that would, over the generations following his death, erode the absolute power of the pharaoh. The most visible symptom of this shift was the growing wealth and ambition of Egypt's high officials. During Teti's reign, powerful viziers and nobles began constructing funerary monuments of a scale and elaborateness that had previously been reserved for royalty. The most dramatic example is the mastaba tomb of Merope, Teti's chief vizier, built at Saqqara not far from the royal pyramid. This extraordinary structure contained 33 richly carved and decorated rooms, the largest non-royal tomb ever built in ancient Egypt. Its very existence was a declaration that Egypt's wealth was no longer flowing exclusively to the crown, but was being distributed among the elite officials who administered the kingdom. If there is one domain in which Teti's legacy stands clearest and most enduring, it is religion. Teti was a pharaoh of deep and apparently sincere religious devotion, and the evidence of that devotion is inscribed, quite literally, on the walls of his pyramid. The pyramid texts, a collection of ancient religious utterances, spells, and hymns designed to guide the deceased pharaoh through the afterlife and ensure his resurrection and union with the gods, had first appeared in the pyramid of Teti's predecessor Unas. Teti continued and expanded this tradition enthusiastically. His pyramid's burial chamber and internal corridors were inscribed with these sacred texts, making his monument one of the earliest and most important examples of this genre of religious literature, which would eventually evolve into the famous Book of the Dead.